Good morning, everybody. Welcome to ProVu's webinar on the power of ProSys. First of all, thank you for taking time to join the webinar. My name is Mohammed Bajra, and I'm the Senior Technical Sales Engineer at ProVu Communications. So throughout the webinar, we will be looking at different aspects of ProSys and how it can help you to reduce the total cost of deployment, including obviously general stuff, which is ordering, placing orders, getting quotations, and vice versa. Before we move on to the main content of the webinar, just a bit of housekeeping really. If during the webinar, if you have any questions, please press click on the speech bubble on the right hand tab and then enter your questions in the message box. We will review the questions at the end of the session where we have a dedicated question and answer session for you guys. So what's on the agenda today? We will briefly look at who ProVu are. We'll be covering what is ProSys, what's new in ProSys, and the 4 tools that helps make ProSys a reseller portal. Followed by question and answer session. Based on the content, I believe it will last approximately 35 minutes to 40 minutes. So for those of you who are not already familiar with ProVu Communications, we are a specialist web distributor. We have been distributing products since early 2002, so quite an early adopter of VoIP hardware, and we work with all the leading manufacturers, as you can see on the screen. And the main difference as compared to other vendors is we don't just sell the hardware, we offer a service wrap around all of our product range, and we will cover that in a bit as well. So let's look at the main content, ProSys. So what is ProSys? ProSys is ProVu's online reseller portal. So every reseller who sign up as a reseller with us can gain access to our online portal, and then that gives you access to the range of tools. The idea being is obviously it gives you access to ordering, provisioning, management, and integration. Again, we will talk about that in a minute. This system has been developed in-house by our dev team, so it has been developed from scratch, which basically gives us a lot of control, full control over development and integration part of the system. We are obviously our development team are working days and night really, adopting new ideas, creating new services to ease our partners' processes. So what's new? As I said, it's gone through a lot of development recently. So we have some new features recently introduced to our portal, and then again based on the feedback we've received from our resellers. So we'll keep on adding more features, but as of we stand, we have some of the new features available as of today. We have redesigned the web GUI, so it is a new design on ProSys. We have a dedicated FAQ sections on the homepage, which answers most of the frequently asked questions again regarding how the billing works, how the management works, and vice versa. Again, we'll cover that in a bit. We have new online payment. So if you would like to make payment, historically you had to call us to make payment, but now we have online payment integrated on our order form. It's not a new feature, but it is a fairly new feature for ProSys is we now allow changing of user passwords. We have been quite strict in changing password in the past because we would like to make it secure, but after a lot of resellers have asked us for this feature, we've implemented it in our system. And the major update to the system is TR69 router management. So we have added device management, including router management on the system as well. So you can manage routers on ongoing basis. And finally, which is a small link, it's a link to RMA. So basically, you can raise RMAs, but not within ProSys, but there's a link to which will take you through the RMA page where it explains how to raise an RMA. So we will now look at the 4 main tools ProSys offers, and first up is ordering. as a word explains, really, ordering, it allows you to do a lot of different things, but mainly it allows you to place an order online without any interaction with ProVu staff. Obviously, we're more than happy to talk to you guys anyways, but what the ordering system allows you to see is you can see your price list, you can see stock information. You can also get a delivery quotation. So if you are sending something to UK or Ireland or Europe, you can now get live quotations using different courier services to see what the quotation would be to different parts of the world. You can obviously place orders direct to your site or to your customer site. We also have options to brand your shipping dispatch notice, dispatch notes. So if you do send us your letterheads, we will obviously add it in our system, and you can send it straight to your customer, and the system will look like as it's come from you guys. We have a select choice of couriers: DPD, APC, Royal Mail, and FedEx. So it's entirely up to you what you prefer. And obviously, the only other bit is order history and tracking. So you can track your orders, and you can also look at the order history as well and what you've ordered in the first 6 months or something like that. And payment by card is another new feature we've added. So there will be a demonstration shortly on this, but I would like to cover the second element of ProSys, which is device provisioning. And the main reason is the ordering and device management or device provisioning is basically tying quite together. So what is device provisioning? This is a great tool, actually. This is the main tool that will help you save you time and money. With provisioning, you can have items shipped directly to your customer site with your preferred settings. And it will obviously, the idea being is it's ready to work automatically out of the box. So it's a one-stop shop, so really idea. So if you have routers you're shipping to customers or phones, you can buy them with you can provision them with ProVu. We will then send them pre-programmed direct to your site, ready to be used, really. And it could include in various different things like ship phones and routers on specific firmware, ship with specific BLF, speed dials, specific templates, and we will cover that in a bit as well. So what is provisioning? We offer quite a few different services in provisioning. We have redirection service, we have configuration service, we offer obviously router configuration service, deck cancel setup, and device specific labels. So basically, when you place an order on our system, with let's say, for example, you've ordered 10 phones, and each phone will have its own, obviously username or display name, which could be the, Chris, Matthew, whatever. What we do is we obviously provision the phones anyways, but we also will stick a label on the box, so it will help your end user easily identify which phone belongs to which person. And they're not messing around with the packages. So that's something we do offer as out-of-the-box service anyways, if we do use other provisioning services. So before we move on to provisioning and in details, I would like to cover how provisioning works and what devices we provision first of all. So we provision all the devices. If the devices are not appearing on what you see at the on the slide, we can manually configure those devices as well. So some of the devices which are not configurable using our provisioning services are IP gateways, PBXs, PA systems. We do a lot of customized solutions for customer where customer would like us to pre-program the solution. So if we're providing you as a solution, we can pre-program the system for you. So all your engineer have to do is go on site and plug them in, and it works. So we just don't stop at remote automatic provision. We can manually do a lot of work as well for you. So how provisioning works, I'm sure most of you guys are aware, but basically from a phone perspective, every phone has a URL burnt into the firmware. So the phone boots up, goes to the manufacturer redirection server. The manufacturer that tells the phone that it is ProVu has bought this phone and sending it on behalf of customers. So the manufacturer will send the phones back to ProVu's provisioning server. Now at this stage, if you are using us for configuration, so if you want us to push the configuration back to the phone, we will obviously push the configuration, which is SIP credentials or telephone service providers or whatever. So we'll push the configuration and the phone will stop at that level. But if you're ITSP, or if you have your own local PBX which you want to use for provisioning, we can also redirect the phone to your local PBX or ITSP provision URL. So at that stage, you will have to provide us with the URL. Again, you can add that online as well. But if you do want, if you are like buying 20 or 30 odd phones, you don't want to manually put the URL for each phone. So you can email us the URL and we will create a template for you. Excuse me. We will create a template for you, and then all you have to do is place an order with the phones, and it will automatically redirect to to your local PBX or local ITSP account. Similarly, it was the same way sort of thing for router provisioning as well. So for some of the routers, they don't have actual TR69 provision or vendor's TR69 server in place. So what we do is, if the router doesn't support it, we will plug them in at ProVu. We will get the routers to configure or contact our provisioning server, TR69 provisioning server, and then we will provision the router with your specific devices, and then we will, send it out to the customer. So when they plug them in, it just works. The router obviously will periodically call home to our server, and that is where we add our device management part. So we can obviously manage your router on day-to-day basis, including pushing a specific firmware, or maybe do a master server software upgrade, because we do have problems with routers softwares from time to time, or maybe somebody has found a security hole in there. So before we move on to config labels, I'm just going to take you to the demonstration of online ProSys. So let's go there. So how do you access ProSys? Just be 1 second, please. Okay, so if you're new to ProSys, obviously you can apply for a ProSys account, but generally the way to log in is you will either have something saved in your computer, but if you want to log in, you go to our main website, ProVu.co.uk, and click on this top right corner, click on login to ProSys. Obviously my username and password is saved on my browser, so it will take you straight to your login page, but it will definitely ask you for a login username and password as well. So when you log into the main page, as you can see, there are a couple of different options, but there are 6 different tabs in there. Or we call it tiles in terms of marketing stuff. But main element is there are 2 different elements which you're looking at from ordering point of view. We have price list and stock information, and we have place an order. So let's go to the price list and stock information. This is where you will see across the board all the price list on the vendor, so Snom, Yearling, and vice versa. So you can see the whole lot. Now, if you do want to click on specific class, so for example, you want to look at 2N, for example, all you have to do is click on the button on 2N, and then it will show you the right price list. So it's pretty much straightforward in that sense. You can also add products. So if you want to add a product, all you have to do is click on buy, and that will take you to the main basket. And then obviously you can keep on adding different stuff from there. So and that's about it. You can obviously choose between GPB and your price list, and you can also look at MPN and EN numbers as well if you want to look into it. Now, the other bit is place an order. So if you go and place an order, you can see whatever I added from the order form, it's already included in my basket. So whatever you add from the main price list, it will automatically be added onto the order form. So that's obviously one way of adding products, but the other way around, or this is more my preferred way, but I like doing it that way as well. So all you have to do is start searching, typing in the product you're looking for. So let's say, for example, if I'm looking for Snom, it will start dropping down, but I can just add an extra 3, and then it will come up with also different options. So let's say, for example, I want to choose Snom 305. And I can see my price list. I can see a bit of stocks as well. We don't show exact quantity of stock, various reasons, but if you do have a bigger project you're working on, and if you would like to get up-to-date stock levels, please come and speak to us, and then we'll let you know if we have them in stock as well. And most probably we'll do stock a lot of these phones. So yeah, add a phone, and then if you, let's example, I want to add a trade recruiter as well, so I'll just add and pick and choose a trade recruiter. And you can see again we have a couple of stock levels, and it shows all the information. Now to change this, so if you want us to send it straight to your customer site, all you have to do is click on this edit delivery address, click on the address. I'll just use a random delivery address, put the name of the customer, company name, email address. This is only for DPD, but again, if you do put the email address, then the DPD will send an email to the customer explaining or telling them the time slot for the delivery. And branding, and again, if you have different branding options, let's say, for example, if you have provided us with a template for your branded, and then obviously you can choose by default, it will choose that template. But then again, if you want to send it plain label, so it just goes in plain label without any branding, you can choose plain label as well. So I'll just use plain label for the time being, press save, and that's, so you can see invoice to ProVu and then deliver to this address. Now the main element is here is the carrier charge, carrier services. So this also enables you to get carrier services as well. So we have two different options for courier services, next day courier services to be exact. We have ND16 or ND and DPD. So ND is APC, DPD is obviously DPD, and then the 09, 010, if I just, so ND16 is pre-5 delivery. So you can see it's not guaranteed, but it's obviously, it tells you the cutoff time and it updates the delivery cost as well. So if I wanted to pre-12 or pre-10, for example, you just do pre-10 and then it updates the delivery as well. Again, if I want to go with DPD, you might find some of the services, maybe the pricing is the same. Pre-12, for example, is £12 for DPD pre-12. So yeah, so again, same sort of thing. If you are sending or shipping something to Europe, again, all you have to do is click on edit and change the country to Europe, and then put the address in, and it will give you, if you choose DPD Classic from the drop-down menu, it will give you the courier charge for that specific product. And make sure whenever you get the courier charge, make sure you add the right amount of products in the system. So for example, if let's go back, if I add maybe 10 of those, 19 of those, for example, and 10 of those, 12 of those, not 10. But then you can see the price doesn't change, but it is based on weights and dimensions of the product. So whenever you keep on adding products, it will, the price of the delivery will automatically update itself. So that, for simplicity reason, we'll just stick with one of each. And the final bit on this one is customer reference number. So if you have a PO number, then you can, all you can do is put your PO number here. Delivery phone number is important, mainly because it is required by our couriers. We don't use a number, it is used by our courier services in case they are struggling to find customer premises. So make sure ideally put a mobile number or a landline number, so our courier company or driver can contact the customer. Again, right at the bottom of the page, it tells you about the cutoff time, the prices, and all sort of information. So that is on that. Now provisioning side. Now obviously, if you want us to ship the hardware pre-programmed, now again, come and speak to us first, because we will have to set up your system according to the requirement. But once I set up your system, all you have to do is this process, which is add the products, click on config, and then gives you all sort of different labels. Now, don't get confused, or don't get confused about the product, the labels. I will explain that shortly as well. So we have a D305 and we have a Vigo 2762. And we have account A and account B. You can add more accounts, but again, we'll stick with 2 accounts because that's most probably you will on the phone, wave phone specifically, you will only need really 1 phone unless you're going for gigset, which offers, or the DAC range, which is different to desk phones. So SIP user A, SIP password, SIP proxy, admin proxy. These are all the labels. Now let's go back and look at this slide I want to show you, which will explain how it all works. So let's go back to the original presentation slide. So config labels is SIP user means extension number or the DDI number, whichever has been provided by your service provider. SIP password is again this the password SIP password for the extension number, and SIP proxy is the URL or registration IP address or DNS name for the server. There are other bits as well. Display name is the only other bit which will eventually appear on your config label as well. So if you have a display name like Mohammed or Chris or whatever that you want to display on the phone, you can put that in there as well. Other settings, I'm just going to leave it normal because it's irrelevant for this webinar. But again, come to us and we'll explain that in more detail. Now, similarly for the routers, I would like to explain that because for the routers we're a bit behind on the labels, but we will eventually make it so that the labels appear correctly. So at the moment, if you do want us to program a router with your VDSL or ADSL details, you will have to put these details under the same label. So SIP user A basically means the ADSL router password or VDSL router username part. SIP password is the password provided by your ITSP or service provider or ISP to log in to the router or internet. If you do want to do something a bit more fancier, like if you want us to disable Wi-Fi, under the SIP proxy A field, you put disable Wi-Fi and we will disable the Wi-Fi. Or alternatively, if you want us to change the SSID or broadcast name of the Wi-Fi, you just put your broadcast name and the broadcast name, the password Wi-Fi access password in the password B field. As I said, don't worry about it. We will share the slides shortly as well, so you have something to look at in going forward. So just to give you an example, this is how it is. So I'm just going to use a random extension number, random password 192.168. So these are obviously all random generated passwords. So this is 01422. That is at OpenReach. So whatever is provided by the service provider, and I'm just going to put a random password. Yep. And all you have to do is press save, and then that's pretty much done for you. Now we do, as I spoke about provisioning, we can create custom templates for you. So if you have a specific company who you want to have certain settings on the phones or maybe on the routers, we can create a sub configuration template for you. So for this one, we only have unprovisioned. So basically, for example, if you want certain phones to be provisioned, but then they have a customer where they don't want provisioning because they have their IT team and they want to manually configure everything, all you have to do is configure unprovisioned, and then we will send everything unprovisioned. But by default, if you are provisioning with us, you will just if you have provided us with the settings for the new template, we will create a template for you, and then you can choose it from the drop-down menu. So once you've done all this bit, you will see the final bit. I'm just going to add random number, just a phone number, press submit, and then obviously it will submit the order. But as soon as it submit order, it takes some time, but then it will take you through to pay by card. So if you obviously we don't have a credit account on this account, but if you prefer to have a credit account, you can apply for a credit account online. Again, come and speak to us and we'll help you with that as well. So all you have to do is pay by card, click on pay by card, and it will talk to, it will ask for all sorts of different information about the card, and you can make payment. So that's about it from the ordering system. Obviously, if you have any outstanding orders or orders waiting to be shipped, all you have to do is click on there, and then it will show you all the outstanding orders or all the order history under your order history as well. And again, you can search the orders by customer reference number, PO numbers, and vice versa. The only bit that is left now on this one is password. So you can click on this little icon on the top corner, and then if you do want to change your password, something you remember, you can change your user password on this page as well. And that's about it from provisioning and device management side. So let's go back to the slides and look at the next part, which is device management. So device management, what exactly is device management? It allows you to basically manage your devices as obviously it is quite self-explanatory. So if you want to manage your devices on ongoing basis, we have worked, our technical support guys have worked really hard to build the system so you can manage all different products from one centralized system. So you can be anywhere in the world, and all you have to do is log into ProSys, and you will be able to manage your devices without any problem. So some of the features, as you can see from management, is view and monitor all your deployed devices. You can search by MAC addresses and phone numbers. You can edit technically any settings, for example, zip username, password. You can add any settings as well on devices. You can manage and schedule firmware upgrades. This is one of the most important part, mainly because most recently we had there was an issue with Draytech firmware, specific firmware, and then one of our customers had like hundreds of these deployed. So they use the firmware upgrade options to upgrade, schedule upgrades on those routers. You can obviously maintain logs of firmware upgrades, and you can also, if you have a device which hasn't been bought by ProVu and you would like to add to a management system, you can add that on to our system as well to manage. Some of supported vendors for device management. You can obviously look at the supported vendors. We do offer a basic configuration and adoption across the board. We do have one on Snom and Yearlink. We do have a fake web interface where you actually, when you edit any setting, it takes you to a fake web interface, and it's as if you are comfortable with using fake web interface and not obviously want to remember the settings. All you have to do is log into the fake web interface, make changes, and that will help you with the configuration of the device. Supported vendors in terms of routers, we support Asus, Draytech, and Technicolor. And again, you can edit any settings remotely if you know the settings name. Again, come and speak to us and we'll help you with that as well. So again, a bit of demonstration for the management element. So let's go back to ProSys. And so on management, under management, you can see you can search a device by serial number, or you can list all my devices. You can look at recent upgrades, and you can manage adopted phones as well. So let's look at list my items. I'm just going to click on, obviously this is a test unit, so I don't have a lot of items, but if you're on a real live system, we have thousands of products which people are managing. So let's pick up one of the phones. So let's click on CP920, which we have here. If you log in, when you click on that, it obviously talks you through about the different firmwares, serial numbers, and when it last called home to a server, etc. So let's click on the device details. I can click on that, and then it doesn't show the SIP credentials because of security reasons, but just if I want to make any change, click on edit config, and that's where it takes me to the configuration page. So basically, the SIP user array on the basic configuration, it gives me all the single SIP account details. Again, firmware, if you want to put a specific firmware onto it. If you click on advanced configuration, it gives you a bit more. So it gives you up to 4 different accounts, but at the same time, you can do a bit more advanced configuration like IP address if you want to put the device on a static IP address and vice versa. If you do know the setting name, this is something probably a bit more technical for people, so for technical support people, I guess. But if you don't know a certain setting that you would like to push to a phone, you can add the key and the value there. But again, as I said, come and speak to our tech support guys, and they will find you the right key if you don't know the key. But for the CP920, as I said, we do have a fake web interface. So on this page, if you click on configuration, it will give you a fake web interface. It's a bit outdated, but it still does the job. So if you click on accounts, it gives you a fairly simple to use interface. So you can obviously choose all different bits, codecs, advanced settings, network settings, and vice versa, and features. So I'm just going to say custom mode, just press save. Then once I've made the changes, obviously similar to what I generally do on the phone, I'll go to review settings. Obviously, it will explain or tell me which settings I've made changes, and I can press save permissions and apply changes. So I don't want to obviously do that because obviously it's my test unit. And apply settings, obviously once I've done that, I can just apply settings, and then it will take me back to the main page. And then obviously you can save configuration, or you can do all sorts of different things to it. Okay, and that's pretty much it for it really. So this is how you will manage your ongoing devices, again based on serial number, or if you don't know the serial number, you can just click on that as well. So in terms of the device management element, if you bought a phones not bought from ProVu, you can adopt them into our system as well. So it's pretty much straightforward. You click on adopt phones, you choose the vendor you want to obviously add. So that's, for example, if I want to add Yearlink, I will add the serial number, and then just press go. And obviously, again, it's a test unit, so I don't want to press go, but then all you have to do is to adopt it onto a system. Is you press go, and it will reach our tech support guys, and then tech support guys will be in touch with you regarding once that is completed, or if they need further information about the product. So it's pretty much straightforward to adopt. Once adopted, again, you can manage it. You can go into the edit and settings, and then it will give you the same information like you saw under list my all devices, and you can push configuration to the phones. Okay, and that's pretty much it from device management. Again, if you do wish to look at a bit more detailed one-to-one conversation about management or provisioning, please come and speak to us, and we'll sort something out for you. So the last element, let's go back to those slides again. If it allows. So the last element of or the fourth section of the process is API integration. The integration, what it allows you, so we have worked really hard on our API, and that what it allows you really to do is to integrate your systems with our system to create a seamless ordering process. So you can do a bit of development on your end, and we will help you with obviously with the development work as well. We can do a bit of development if required on our end, and that will allow you to order, provision, and manage the whole system can be seamless without ever leaving your system. So all you do is you place an order on your system. Your API will send the system the order to our system, and then we will just dispatch it. So it just takes a lot of pain away from your sales guy. All they have to do is make a sale, and then the system will do the rest. So just to give you an example of how it works. So obviously the API can use for other products as well. So it can display, the API can be used to display product pricing, stock availability, and images on your website. So we provide all this information using our API. So the idea, the cycle works that your customer places an order on your website or on your CRM system. Your CRM system then add optional provisioning details for the extension specifically, for example, and then your system then send it via XML to ProVu. ProVu systems dispatch team will then receive the order, and then we will ship the products pre-programmed to your customer site, ready to be used. And that's pretty much it, really. It really is as simple once it's you got that working. Now, just to give you an idea about if you do want some information on how to work on API and how to use our API on ProSys, again, we have the full API document file available. So please pass it on to your development guys and get them to read out. If you struggle with anything, reach out to us, and we will introduce you to the right team to help you with the development on your end and our end as well. But we can do a lot of customization, basically. And that's about it, really, from ProSys point of view. In summary, just to summarize the whole webinar. If you order from ProSys, and if you have the right, obviously, if you have set up in the right tools, you place an order with ProVu, and we will ship the hardware straight to your customer side with your branding or your customer specific branding ready to work out of the box. If you order from other vendors, the way it works is the item gets shipped to yourself. You will then get your engineers to program and spend hours or maybe even half an hour configuring the device. Then you will send your engineers to on site, or maybe you will ship the hardware on site. And then when it reaches the site, obviously the plug in, it works. But there's a potential, because there is a lot of there's manual work involved in the process. There's an increased possibility of things going wrong. It doesn't happen often, obviously, but there's a possibility. there for that as well. So that's where we add our wrap services, fulfillment services. So services we offer CPE fulfillment, phones, gateways, whatever. We can do that anyways. We can do drop ship direct to your customer site, or we can do white label delivery. We do have a dedicated in-house marketing team as well. And they have worked really closely with most of our suppliers and vendors to come up with bespoke solutions. Most recently, one of our TSP want to actually wrap the actual box with their own branding. So our tech our marketing team has actually worked with them to design a wrap paper sort of thing to go around the box to make it a bit more to give it a bit more personal touch. So it looks like it's coming from the actual vendor. So we can do a lot of different things. We can add marketing inserts, and we can do a lot of different customized solutions as well. So again, if you want to do anything with marketing, or if you want to add a marketing brochure to each of your parcel, or maybe a guide or something, just come and speak to us. Technical support, we are quite proud of our technical support because we have more technical people in-house than salespeople. So most of the guys are very technical, very good. They can help you with supporting any devices we sell. We will only sell products which we can support as well. So we have a dedicated support team available for your use. We do run online and on-site training courses as well. So we have free online training available for Gigaset, Yearling, SNOMS, and SARC as well. But if you do want us to do an on-site training, again, for your engineers, please come and speak to us, and we can do a custom training for you based on what you are looking for. We do offer consultancy and pre-sale advice. So we can, if you have a solution which you can't find out from elsewhere, please again come and speak to us. We can work with you to create a solution and provide you with the whole solution. From different, if it means different vendors, we can help you with that as well. And finally, project management. We do a lot of project management for our ITSPs. So if you have a bigger project you're working on, please come and speak to us. We will basically work with you closely and the vendor to get you obviously negotiate better pricing. At the same time, we will also work with you to make sure everything goes as planned. And that's about it really. We have covered, I think, most of the bits. Now, future development. Obviously, our system has been developed in-house, and it wouldn't be here without your feedback. Our system guys, our development team works really hard to make the whole process seamless. They like to make it simplify the process so your admin guys can understand the whole process. So please, if you would like, send us your feedback or ideas or what you would like to see on ProSys, and we will then share that internally with our development team, and hopefully we will add that into, based on how simple it is or how difficult it is, we will add that into future development. So please provide us with as much feedback as you can on ProSys. And that's about it really. Thank you very much. I'm just going to have a quick look on the questions. There are some questions, so I'm going to look at, and then hopefully I'll try and answer them as I can. But while I'm looking into this, if you don't have a ProSys account, there's a link on the slide, so you can apply for a ProSys account online on our website as well. So I'm just looking at the questions while to see if I can find some. So I'm just trying to see question. There are some questions I'm just trying to what config needs to be added to phones to be adopt managed on ProVu? So again, I've covered that as well. So all we need is the MAC address or serial number of the product, and you can just go onto the phone management and click on adopt phone and add it on the portal. The second question is, when an order is placed on API integration and part of the order is to be fulfilled by our on stock, is it possible to determine items to be shipped from yourself? I'm sure it is possible. Sorry, it's a bit more out of my depth, this question, but what I will do is I'll get one of my systems team to be in touch with you to explain how would that work, if that would work, obviously. So yeah, we will come back to you shortly in a separate email on that as well. So that's about it, really. Thank you for your time. I hope it was useful. Again, any feedback you would like on the webinar, please feel free to send us an email. This webinar obviously will share the slides with you shortly as well. And this webinar is being recorded, so a recording of the webinar will be emailed to you shortly as well. Thank you for your time and hope to speak to you again. Thank you. Bye.